Hey guys, welcome back. My name is Sarah if you are new here, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about Christmas. As of today is the last day of July. So we have August, September, October, November, and part of December, 4.5 months or so to prepare for Christmas. And those of us who are frugal, who are on a limited budget, who want to make the holidays special and just can't spend a lot of money, and I feel like this year especially there's a lot of us in that boat. Now is the time to start thinking about what we can do for Christmas. So I'm starting to work on some things, and I wanted to give you some ideas. So first of all, I have seen those cool wood slice ornaments, So I sent my 14-year-old out this morning, and he found a nice branch that was good and dry. It had been sitting with our firewood for the garage, so it had been under roof, and he got it, and he made slices for me. He made me 33 of them out of this branch, and some of them are smaller, some of them are a little bit bigger, and then he used the drill press and put a hole in each one so that they can be hung. And I'm not sure if I'm going to use my Cricut to put something on here. I'm not sure how much vinyl I have, or if I'm going to paint something, or maybe I'll hire my daughter to paint something. She's a really good artist, my 13-year-old, or something. But anyway, I think I'm going to use these, maybe even just as a gift tag, do like a painting on the front and on the back to the to and from. But I think that'll be nice. Or I might do sets. There is a blog post that I found yesterday. I'll try to remember to link it below, of like 40 different, I think, ways to make these. Some of them are like transfers, some of them are Mod Podge, some of them are painted, one is embroidered, all kinds of cool stuff. So if you have access to wood and tools, there's one idea for you. Let me set these down. Okay, so another thing that you can do is to start looking around your house at things you have if you're crafty. Usually if you are crafty, people know that, and they will start passing things along to you, or you've slowly built up things. So think about what you have on hand that you can make gifts for, or gifts with, I'm sorry. So we have a lot of fabric. I've been looking at different sewing projects. I made one little wall hanging quilt already, kind of as a prototype. I'm thinking usually for our children we do like the want, need, wear, read, but we don't really have a need necessarily, so it's usually like 2 wants and a wear and a read. And I'm thinking about maybe just sewing things, at least for my girls. So I had a free pattern. I'll see if I can find maybe the link to it too, for an adult ladies dress. I have little girl dress patterns. But just looking around, I even looked into, a lot of our fabric is not in like a lot of yardage right now, big pieces. I've used a lot of that, but you can put together strips of patchwork and use that as a fabric to make the dress, which I think for like a tween or teen could be really cute. So I'm thinking about that. I also crochet, and so I have been thinking about that. I went on to Ravelry and just put in crochet and then marked free, and so I've been looking through that and kind of favoriting different crochet patterns, trying to focus on ones that are fairly quick, that are useful, and that don't use a ton of yarn, because then I can make more things. I've thought about mittens for my younger kids, things like that. There was one thing where you took a mug and you made like a crocheted wrap for it, but it wasn't like a mug cozy. It had like slots and stuff for like crochet hooks and scissors and thread and all kinds of things, and then you filled the inside with other like notions or whatever as like a craft caddy. So things like that. And of course, if I need more fabric, I can go to the thrift store. I can buy especially vintage cotton sheets, or curtains, or pillowcases, or tablecloths, anything that's a large amount of fabric for really cheap. And yarn I can also usually find at thrift stores. And another thing that is easy to do, or something you can think about now, and what I'm actually getting ready to do now, is thinking about what I can make in the kitchen. And so right now it's peach season, and we've been canning peaches and freezing peaches, but today I'm going to make a really small batch of peach jam, and I'm going to be making it, oh, there it is, with this. So it is low or no sugar. That might be backwards to you, I'm sorry. Pectin. I have a couple people in my family who are diabetic and who won't eat, added sugar. So I'm going to make just a quick batch of this and get it canned and tucked away, and then it'll be ready as a Christmas gift too. Of course, other ideas for Christmas, you can be looking for used items, re-gifting things, making Bath and Body things, all those kinds of things. And I'm hoping to focus on that in the coming months and show you some of the things that I'm doing to be able to share with you and give you inspiration. And let's just make this Christmas one of the best yet, and let's keep it stress-free and to a minimal cost. So let's get started on the peach jam. So let me angle you down here. The first thing I need to do is to weigh out my peaches, because it says on this recipe, which I'll try to link as well, that I need 2 1/4 pounds of peaches. I'll wash them here in a minute. I'll tear out my scale. See if I have enough here. If not, I've got lots more. And that's right about 1 pound. So I need another 4 ounces. That's slightly over it, but I'm going to go ahead and go with that. So we've got our jars in here in hot water, and this water is boiling, and we're going to blanch the peaches for about a minute in here, and then I'm going to move them over to the sink. I've got cold water in there, and we'll wait for them to cool and then slip the skins off. So we're going to drop these in for about 60 seconds. A minute's up, and we're just going to pull these out and transfer them over to the sink. So now I can just take the skins off. They just peel off really easy once they've been blanched. And then we will cut the peaches into chunks and put them directly into our pot. So now they're all cut and peeled, and we're just going to mash them as best we can with the potato masher. This is just so that the fruit is more evenly distributed in the jam instead of kind of hanging out in big chunks. Pretty good. Smaller pieces. Alright, so then next we're going to add our water and lemon juice and any kind of sweetener we want. I'm going to add, I think, 4 packages, the little packets of stevia to this. And then once that's mixed in, then we'll stir in the pectin. I need 1/3 of a cup of water. And 2 tablespoons of lemon juice. And then the sweetener, and then it'll be 3 tablespoons of pectin. Just using these little packets. So stevia goes a long way, and I don't want it to be bitter which is what tends to happen if you use too much stevia in something. So we'll stir all of that in, mix it really good. And then our pectin. And then we'll turn this on and bring it to a hard boil and boil it for 1 minute. And then we'll put it in jars and can it up. So while that is going on, I'm going to start lunch for my family. And, sorry guys. Okay. We're going to be doing corn dog muffins. And this is kind of a Dollar Tree inspired dish for us. So this comes from Dollar Tree. We really like this cornbread mix. It calls for 1 3/4 cups of milk and 3 eggs, but I feel like that's kind of pantry staple type stuff. So we're just going to mix this up like it says on the back of the package, preheating the oven to 425. And then we have hot dogs, which you can get at the Dollar Tree, but ours aren't from there. They were purchased on clearance somewhere else. And we're going to cut them, I think, into about thirds and put them, like make this, we're going to put it in greased muffin tins, and then we'll put a hot dog down in the center of it and bake them, and it's like a corn dog. So we're gonna have that and probably some mac and cheese for lunch today. So right here, I'm just mixing up that Dollar Tree cornbread mix, adding my milk and my eggs, and while I'm doing that, I'm also stirring my pot of jam on the stove and just waiting for that to come to a hard boil. And now that it's all mixed up, I'm gonna go ahead and use my big ice cream scoop here, and I already greased these muffin tins, but I'm just gonna divide the batter between both tins, and at the same time keeping an eye on my jam here to make sure that it's not ready to take the next step here or start the timer then for the 1 minute boil time. I'm just going to go ahead and really quickly fill up these muffin tins, and it actually did fill all 2 dozen of them. So then after the jam had boiled for a minute, it was time to go ahead and pull these jars out of the hot water. This is a very small batch of jam. It made 4 half pints, but we actually did 2 half-pint jars and then 1 pint jar. And it was time to go ahead and get out the funnel and put it in the jars and fill them up. Fill this. It looks pretty thick. Once we got it all put into jars here, we're scraping out the last little bit to put in the fridge for later, and then we're going to go ahead and wipe the rims really well, make sure there's nothing stuck to them, add the lids and the bands, and then it's time to go into the canner for the processing time. Put this into the fridge to cool a little bit before we taste it. It definitely coats the back of the spoon, so it's plenty thick. Tastes pretty good. definitely more tart than most jams since there's so little sweetener in it, but it's good. I'm gonna get my pot washed so I can make mac and cheese and then finish these up. And of course, if you're doing this as a Dollar Tree meal, there's all kinds of sides that you can get there to go with this, even just canned fruit. I think they have macaroni and cheese, they have frozen vegetables, they've got frozen French fries, all kinds of things to put with this, depending on how much you want to spend, what you have available at home. But this can be kind of the starting point for a meal inspired by Dollar Tree. I'm just going to use my kitchen shears to cut the hot dogs into thirds. Go ahead and pull these ones up. And just plop them in here. That's what they're looking like. I'm going to put them in the oven and I'll see you in a few minutes.
I get like 14 of those.
You think you're going to eat 14 of them, huh?
I have a whole tray.
There's 2 whole trays.
Wait, how much is this?
You want this one?
In this game, you can kill somebody.
I
Practically used it by Mama.